Should you buy an iPad mini 6 in late 2023 or early 2024? Honestly, I don't know, but by the end of this video, you'll know exactly if you should or shouldn't using these three simple questions. Let's talk tech. The very first question you have to ask yourself is, are you into productivity? Meaning, as a content creator, for me, my biggest thing is about optimizing my content output. And having an iPad mini does just that. So if you're a business owner, if you're at work and you're doing it for productivity, then I want to show you something. This is my iPad. Everything about it is set up for productivity, from the side widgets to everything. When we open it up, you can see it opens up and you can see right off the back my main apps that I use when it comes to productivity. One of them is going to be right here, which is going to be my calendar. My next one that I use all the time is going to be TickTick, which is right here. This is my content output. These are active projects. You can see right here is my calendar. And then right here is my Notion, which these are the main three apps that I'm using constantly. So if you're doing it from that standpoint, productivity, you're going to love this. Watch this. I'm going to slide over here. I'm just going to show you a really basic one that I use all the time. So we're going to go into research mode. Now, once in research mode, you can see that my whole screen changed. Once my screen changed, the first thing I can do is, that was just changing my focus mode. The next thing I can do is I can click right here, which is going to open up a question. It's going to ask me a question. So I click right there. I'm going to just say test, just so I'll know to delete this later. I'm going to say okay. And what it just did was, now if I click into here, pull that up a little bit, paste it, take that down, and you can see what I typed in was copied to my clipboard as well. This gives me the starting point. This actually went in, created a new file, and it actually gets me started with my YouTube research for my content. This right here to me is invaluable. And if I wanted to take it even a step further, I can close this out, and then I can click right here where it says, this basically allows me to search YouTube. So we click right here. It says, what would you like to call your search? This allows me to search YouTube directly without having to worry about me getting lost. So let's say I was stuck on something dealing with infinity photo. So I could type in my problem, say done, and it's going to instantly open up to that specific page. And I'm able to actually see exactly what I'm looking for without getting distracted. Everything about this right here is research. All of this is about productivity. Now, if I wanted to take it a step further, I could take it a step further. And you can see up here, I have workflows. So if I click that workflow, and if I say, I could say YouTube research, which would do the mind map that I just did. But I also can click right here and say TickTick and mind node. And I have mind node pop up, which this is the first one I just created. So I can say test. And then over here, I can look at whatever my projects is or something like that. When I tell you there are a lot of cool things you can do when it comes to productivity, like if productivity is your jam, this definitely has you covered from a productivity standpoint. How's it going? Will here from Will Talk Tech, and my mission is to become a full-time content creator, and this channel shows you exactly how I'm doing it along the way. The next question, which is number 2, is how much power do you need? Like, what is it that you want to do with your iPad mini? If you're thinking about buying an iPad mini, it's because you got this thought in your head of exactly what you're going to use it for. So does an iPad mini exceed the amount of power you need to be able to do that thing? So let me give you a snapshot of the type of power you can get out of the iPad mini 6. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to turn off this actual focus mode and go back to our normal screen. And the first thing I'm going to show you is, if you doing any type of photo editing, if you want to use a real photo editor, as you can see, all my photos that I do is on Infinity Photo. This is actually a photo that I did. I was actually going to put this up, but I decided not to put it up. I didn't think it made sense. You can see right here, these are some of the thumbnails I did. This thumbnail actually is performing pretty good. This one down here. This one, I honestly thought this one was going to do a lot better than it did. Maybe I should change out the background color. Maybe that's what's throwing everything off. But all in all, you can see that there's no lag. Like we can click into any of these. If I come over here and I start moving stuff around, you can see that it instantly moves around without any problems, without any issues or anything like that. So when it comes to it, you can see that this is fairly it you don't have to worry about power if you just want to do some lightweight work. Now, if we go over to Lumafusion, because you can add it on here, so I'll bring this one up for you as well, so you can see that if you wanted to do something in the video realm, you can see that this is what I was doing. This is the video I was doing when I was actually taking my iPad, when I was taking my MacBook Pro back. And then this is when I got my brand new one. So you can see that I'm able to effortlessly scroll through here, no frames dropped or anything like that. Now, you won't be able to use Final Cut Pro on here. So you can use DaVinci Resolve, but it's limited. But if you want Final Cut Pro, this is absolutely a deal breaker. You have to have something with the M1 chip in it. And even with the M1 chip in it, my Final Cut Pro on my M1 12.9-inch Pro, that one lags a lot. So I'm almost tempted to go jump out there and get the M2 just so it can stop lagging. But I honestly don't know if that's a feature of the actual M1 or if that's just Final Cut Pro still being buggy. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. But in this specific instance, you can absolutely use Lumafusion. No problem, no drop frames, smooth editing, as you can see right here. Now, I don't believe I have DaVinci Resolve on here because, oh, I do. So you can see right here, this is DaVinci Resolve being loaded up right now into it, 18.6. You can see right there, that's the warning that tells you not everything is gonna work on here. But I mean, honestly, you can see this is a video that I was working on. And you can see that, I mean, honestly, if you go over to the color screen, you can see you got all, well, I ain't gonna say you got all your controls, but you have most of your controls. You can see where it was a little time to load that in. That's more so on the loading side of the video versus the device itself not being able to handle it. If we move this around, you can see how smooth and effortlessly it glides and changes the color right here. So power isn't going to be an issue. If you want to use this for gaming, we can switch over to my unplug. So when I'm unplugged, you can see here's all the games I play. You can see 2K24. This is probably the biggest, most heavy intensive game I got. If it don't need to load anything, you will see that it works great. So if I tap the screen, I can just say yes. All right, so now you can see that I can play the game in career mode if I want to. If I connect my controller to it, it'll play just fine. I won't have any issues with it. As you can see, it's no lagging, it's no stuttering. And I'm able to, really play it. It's literally, I'm able to control it and everything. So I kind of like that. And you can see that's me standing still. So when I start moving him, you can see that he's not lagging. He's doing exactly what I'm telling him to do. So when it comes to power, you really don't have to worry about this not being powerful enough unless, again, you want Final Cut Pro or something like that, or if you want the full DaVinci Resolve application, then you have to worry about it a little bit. Hopefully you ain't see me just kick the camera. Pretty close to me. But outside of that, then this power should be more than sufficient for your needs. If you're enjoying this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up so I'll know to create more videos just like this one. My third question is, do you take lots of notes or do a lot of brainstorming with pen and paper? If so, I want to show you something. All right, really quickly, we're going to actually come up out of this. I'm going to turn that off, go back into my normal default mode. And the first app I want to show you is this one right here, which is called Notability. Now, with Notability, I'm going to say done. With Notability, this is a very powerful app, but we're just going to focus on the part of it that allows me to write on it. So if I wanted to write on here, or if I wanted to brainstorm something, like I use this a lot when it comes to, let's say, thinking of website ideas, like I might do my wireframing on here versus pen and paper. And then once I have it mapped out on here, I'll screenshot it and send it over. The cool thing about this is that I've been trying to get my girl to understand this for a long time, but she just don't. She just don't. So what I want you to understand is if you're taking any type of notes, it is infinitely more powerful for you to have your notes with you at all times versus having them in a notebook at home or having them in your book bag or something like that. But to go even a step further is way more powerful for you to have your notes on your device, even if you prefer taking hand notes and you snapped a picture with your iPad and brought them into Notability, you can still make those notes searchable through the power of OCR, which means you can write them by hand, like I've explained to my girl many times. You can write it by hand, snap a picture of it, and always have a digital copy with you. And that way you can go in and just search for something on that page that you wrote, and it'll instantly take you to that page. That right there to me is an invaluable feature. If you want to brainstorm, you can brainstorm with pen and paper. Literally, you can get some type of screen protector. I think on here is, I can't think of it right now, but it's some type of screen protector on here, some type of glass on here. I think it's Paper-like. As a matter of fact, I know it's Paper-like on here. That's what I'm using on here. It's Paper-like, so it's not like I'm writing on glass. It's actually Paper-like on here, so I get that sound of me writing on paper, and it's pretty cool. And then I could double tap and I could just erase everything if I want to, or if I wanted to change it up, I can change it to partially erase. I keep mine on whole erase. You can make the pencil smaller. You can do so much stuff with Notability. It's not even funny. But if you are in any way taking notes, you want to consider the iPad Mini 6, because note taking on here with a pencil, you don't have to worry about it. Is the truth. Seriously. All right, let's talk about media consumption, because on this device, when it comes to consuming media, whether you're listening to a video or watching a video, watching a movie, you're listening to a podcast. Although I've never listened to a podcast on here, I probably would grab my phone for that, but you could listen to a podcast on here. But more importantly, when it comes to like taking digital courses online as a content creator, leveling up my game, it is significantly better to watch it on here than on my phone, because on my phone, you got the mobile web browser. On here, you actually get the full web browser experience. And for me, that is so much better than having to download an app and use a third party app or a company's app to be able to access the content. I much rather prefer the web browser of any course or anything like that. One that comes to my mind is Teachable. Teachable gives you the full on web app experience when you're on your iPad mini. In fact, there's no app for it on the iPad mini because you do have the web browser version. Media consumption, hands down, wins on here. And I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max and I still reach for this instead. Okay, so should you get this iPad mini in late 2023 or early 2024? It really comes down to the three questions that I asked you. Now, really simple. If you see where you need more power than this, then absolutely, I wouldn't say wait. I would say just upgrade to whatever next iPad coming out, because the truth is we don't know if an iPad 7 is coming out in 2024. We're for sure it's not coming out within the next month of 2023. That much we do know. Now, if you don't need all that power and you have something else, and this is just what I use it for as literally my second brain, my productivity, where I get everything done, I'm gonna say grab it, because at the end of the day, this is going to be more valuable to you now to get this than it is to have the latest, greatest, whatever's in your whatever come out next. Now, will I be getting the next one that comes out? Yes, because I desperately want an M1 chip up in here, or at the I hope it be an M2, but at the very least, an M1 chip up in here, because I don't like being limited when it comes to not being able to have Final Cut Pro on here or having a full version of DaVinci Resolve. But those are not reasons for me not to pick it up, because I don't have to have those things on this device, because realistically, if I have a real project that I need to do, I'm going to grab my 16-inch MacBook Pro, or I'm going to grab my 12.9-inch MacBook Pro, iPad Pro. So I don't have to have it. So if you're just sitting on the fence because you're waiting on the latest and greatest, I say don't do that. I say grab it. Now, if you looked at this video and you said, okay, well, all that stuff that you just did looks cool, it looks really nice, but it don't appeal to me. or I really don't need the iPad right now. I just want it. In that case, I would say absolutely wait till the iPad 7 come out because you're not losing anything. But if you're making your content output or you're making your job or whatever it is you want to use the iPad for harder because you don't have it because you're waiting on the iPad 7 to come out that we don't know when the release date is going to be or if it's going to come out, I say grab the iPad mini 6, enjoy it. I'm pretty sure you will not be disappointed. And YouTube think you'll like this video right here. Till next time, later.